And now, after years of planning, sweating, and going broke, here is the Boots and Whiskey Podcast with Jim Belisle.
I'll alert the media.
Why they would give this man a podcast is anyone's guess.
Then there is what could only be a bizarre coincidence or something else.
Welcome to the Boots and Whiskey Podcast with Jim Belisle.
Fat, drunk, and stupid is no way to go through life, son.
Country music and fine moonshine. Finally, a podcast that lets it all hang out.
Let's level with America.
Got your boots? Ready for some whiskey?
These boots are made for walking.
One of these days, these boots are gonna walk all over you.
And now, the Boots and Whiskey Podcast with Jim Belisle.
Hey Nation, Jim here, Boots and Whiskey Podcast. Thank you for tuning in to a Sunday edition of the show. We don't do a lot of Sunday shows, but as Matt Westerman would say, you never miss a Sunday show. So we're not going to miss this one. As I said, Matt Westerman is here with us today. And if you're watching this, it's for two reasons. One, you know who Matt is, or two, you're just a loyal fan of ours. Probably knowing who Matt is probably the more obvious thing here. But for those of you who don't know, Matt Westerman is a staple in the Midwest country music concert scene. I remember when I first stumbled across Matt's Facebook years ago now, I thought he was part of somebody's team. And that's why I friended him, because it was like, who do you work for? Like, what do you got? And I came to find out he's just a fan. And I don't say just, like it doesn't matter. But Matt has done so much that you would never even know, right? He's done so much with spreading music and spreading the love of music and these artists that we have fallen in love with. So it just made sense to have Matt on the show. And, even like when these artists that primarily tour the Midwest, and we see them up here and we're chatting, like I always bring up Matt, always. And they always have nothing but the nicest things to say. And we figured it was fitting putting Matt's episode out this week because we put out Kenny's this week, and him and Kenny are super close. And in the live album that just came out for Kenny Fiedler, they call out Westerman, in like the second song. So it's like, you know what? We said, fuck it. Let's just put it out. So thank you for being here, Matt. Thank you for coming in and shooting the shit with us. And, there's a few things that I hold near and dear to me. And that's the love of country music and the love of my kids. And Matt has the same love. And I think that's why I like Matt so much. Matt busts his ass. He works hard. He still gets to these shows, and he still makes his son a priority. So, Matt, I tip my hat to you, my friend. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep killing it. And we hope you enjoy this episode of the show. And that's really it, guys. We saw Lee Brice this past Friday night, in Hartford, Connecticut. I have a lot of things to say about Connecticut shows, and maybe I'll get into that after this episode. But it was a great show. If you can see Lee Brice do his You, Me, and My Guitar tour that he's on, go, because it was awesome. Stories, acoustic. It was just great. It was just great. I love shit like that, so it was great. But enough of that. Sit back, relax, enjoy our conversation with the one and only Matt Westerman. Cheers. Living the dream?
That's right. It's a rare Saturday night without a show.
Well, like that's what when I said it to you last night, I was like, "There's no way this dude has nothing to do on a Saturday night." Nothing.
It's crazy. No show this weekend. I mean, no show this Saturday, but I still got 3 shows in. So.
Yeah. So where were you last night? Weren't you at like Zach Top last night?
Jackson Dean last night.
Oh, that's right, Jackson Dean last night.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, Zach was at Canes, I think, last night, wasn't
Yep,
he?
that would have been a pretty good show to see.
Yeah.
Even I can't go and see everything, so.
I mean, I feel that, right? But like you live in a world or a part of the world that you get to see all the good shows.
Yeah, it's like when I moved here from Texas, I was like, I'm going to Minnesota. I'm going to miss all my concerts. I'm not going to see. I'm going to have like maybe one concert a year, but there's a lot of music that comes up here,
Yeah.
and I'm glad because like I'd rather go to shows here than travel for a show, but sometimes you have to. So
So for people that don't know who you are, right? Why don't
yes,
you
sir.
tell people who you are?
I just crazy guy who loves to go to a lot of concerts and who found a niche in the scene and it just kind of took off and I love sharing my experiences at concerts and love being front row.
Now, how did you so you're from Texas.
Yes, sir.
What made you leave Texas?
Met a woman. She had a big family. Not to be morbid, but a lot of my family has passed. My dad was 50 when I was born, so she convinced me to move to Minnesota, and I said, you know what? Why not? I've been in Texas for 30 years. Why not see something different? And been here in almost 8 years now. It's pretty crazy.
Damn. So
Yeah.
were you going to shows? Were you big into it when you were in Texas?
Oh, absolutely. It was a different ball game. Then I didn't have to worry about like buying tickets in advance. That's now because in Texas there's so much to do. Like you didn't have to worry about this is going to sell out. I'm sure it's changed now, but like went to bought a Whiskey Myers ticket 2 days before the show and in a small little venue and didn't have to worry about selling out. But yeah, I was big into it, and what really got me into it was Jackson Taylor. If you ever heard of him, I'm sure you have, but
Yeah.
Jackson Taylor and the Sinners. I mean, I also listened to Tim McGraw and Keith Urban before I found him. So, and growing up, my dad was very into it. He's a big George Jones fan. He'll poke me in the side. So, boy, that's country music right there. And I just took his love for it and just went crazy with it and started following Jackson Taylor around and then I had found a local band in Abilene, Texas, where I'm from, and between those two, that's all the bands I would see. I'll go one or the other every weekend. Then that's how I started keeping track of it. It's like, oh, I saw Jackson Taylor 10 times, and I started writing it down on a notebook, and then I'm glad I did because now I know exactly how many times I've seen every band. So
So who's the most now?
Joe Stan Band.
Yeah.
And it's pretty wild because Jackson Taylor, he was like 60s when I first started seeing Joe. In the last 4 years, not even 4 years, I've been to 64 Joe Sand shows.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and it's crazy how it started because like the first show I went to see him was he was opening for Alex Williams. Didn't know who he was, by Adam. And I'm about 30 minutes away from Iowa City, the Wildwood there in Iowa. And I said, I guess I should check out this Stom guy. He might be all right, Joe Stom or whatever, yeah. And I just hit shuffle on his music, and A Wild Imagination came on. I was like, all right, that's pretty good. The second song was Pearls of Pigs. I turned it off. I was like, yeah, we're gonna get along just fine after I heard that song.
Yeah. It's funny because I mean, as you know, we had Joe on the show,
Oh yeah.
and I give him shit all the time because it's like he doesn't go outside of the Midwest. I mean, not that he needs to, you know.
Oh, he's in Oklahoma right now. I guess that's kind of Midwest too,
I
I
mean, that
suppose.
to me, when you live in New England, that's the Midwest. You know, that is.
He was in Idaho. I didn't see you there.
Oh, yeah, because I'm gonna. Dude, so a couple of years ago, um, Trent down at
Peacemaker.
Peacemaker,
Yeah.
he invited us down for the weekend, and I tried to get a flight down there.
Yeah.
Wasn't happening. Like,
Should have drove.
fuck you, should have just drove. You're out of your mind.
How far of a drive would that been?
Um, I mean, so from here where I am to Orlando, I know it's not the same thing, but that is 24 hours. So it's easily got to be close to that, if not more.
Yeah. Hey, well, it's a 43-hour drive for me to Idaho and back.
And you've done it.
Oh, done it 3 out of the 4 years. The
That's
first year I went there was the first year I went, I flew, and it all worked out because I had a friend. She had the hotel, I had the rental car. It's like, hey, let's combine our powers, and then she hasn't been since then. So I was like, oh, I'm not going to get a rental car, a hotel. That's $1,000 right there, and
yeah,
so it'd be a lot easier to fly, get off the plane right there in Twin Falls or even Boise, but
right.
it's nice having the old Blue Stallion there, and having a refuge like right there on the other side of the stage, pretty much.
Yeah. Now, so when you do your traveling and you do all this stuff, are you picky about who you're going to and who you're traveling for?
Oh, oh, absolutely. I
Okay.
don't, I don't go to this any show. I don't, it's crazy. Like when it pops up, I map it out and I try to do like this show here and that show here. And I try to get 2 or 3 shows if I'm going out of state and, uh, and it usually works out pretty crazily. So,
Yeah.
but, this year it's been more in Minnesota than anything. So, I mean, even Jackson Dean, who doesn't come up here very much, he was on an hour and a half drive. I was like, man, I'm here already. So that was easy.
Right, right. For you, an hour and a
Right,
half is like 15 minutes on the street.
right. And got to see Paul Coffin here on a Tuesday. That made for a rough Wednesday, but
Well, and
uh,
yeah, especially for both of you. You both
right,
decided a day later that, or he decided a day later, 2 days later that he
yeah.
was he was going home.
I guess 2 shows with Matt Westerman makes you rethink things. A couple
Yeah.
of my buddies sent me that. It's like, all right, we
Yeah.
need to slow down a little bit.
That's a kind of a bummer because I was looking forward to seeing him when he came out here.
When was he supposed to come out there?
I don't know, a couple weeks.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we actually have Aaron Watson's finally coming out here.
Wow, he's from my hometown of Abilene, Texas. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Him
what?
and
What's that?
him and Zane Williams, one of the singers of Water Blues from Abilene.
Yeah, yeah. Wilder Blue is fantastic.
Yeah, it's insane.
Um, but yeah,
Yeah, I
Walker
really hope
Montgomery's opening that show, the Aaron Watson one, and Walker's been
that
on the
name's
show, so
yeah.
might as well
Most
go
of
check it out.
most of that name sounds familiar.
Yeah, that's John
Yeah.
Michael's kid.
Yeah, John Mock was one of my favorites growing up, and it's crazy. Like going back through there. Like I remember he was on the Tonight Show or something with Leno or Letterman, and they had like a shark attack scene, and like I remember this like vividly. My dad's like, "Oh, John Mock got ate by a shark," and it was like a running thing for so long. My dad would, and like I was like maybe 7 or 8. I was like, "No, he didn't. No, he didn't." Yeah, yeah. John Michael and Clay Walker and the icon Garth Brooks is my tops growing up.
Yeah.
Besides the Outlaws and the classics and stuff like that.
It's funny you say that because it's like, I see you online, and I'm sure a lot of people see you online, and you give a lot of shit, and rightfully so, to radio country,
Oh hell yeah,
right?
fuck pop country.
Right, right, right. And it makes me chuckle because you give me shit too about it, right?
Oh,
But
absolutely.
but like, man, like sometimes I have to.
Exactly. And that's why I'm like a lot of people tell me I should be in the music business. And that is exactly why I'm not,
Yeah,
because I'm not going to pander to anybody. I'm not going to, kiss somebody's ass. I get to do what I want to do and say what I want to say, in the nicest way possible. And, without trying to be too much of an ass. So I am an Eagles fan, by the way. So,
yeah,
that kind of goes without notice, a little asshole in there. So, but, I know I just never want to, have to do something, because
yeah.
that's when a passion becomes a job. But it seems like you're doing a great job of it. So
Well,
you
thanks, man.
yeah,
Like recently, I've started to take the reins off a little bit and just say shit.
Yeah.
More, I mean, I always have, but more so now. Like, I had posted something the other day about um, ragweed being like a toxic ex, right? And they must have liked it because they followed our Instagram account.
Oh, really? That's
Yeah, so
hilarious.
so I was pretty psyched about that. But it's just one of those things where, as much as it sucks sometimes to play the game, you
Sometimes you
gotta
have to play the game.
sometimes you gotta play the game.
Right.
You
And
know?
it's kind of like a football team press conference. Everybody says the right things. You don't, it's like just, I'm so glad that, I mean, I kind of would like to be in the music scene a little bit, like in the music actual business, but I don't know. It just, I don't want like everybody's, oh, you should do a podcast. You should do a podcast. It's like, everybody has a podcast. Like, I'll just be, especially now, starting out, I'm 10 years behind the game if I would even think about doing it. So,
Dude, you'd be surprised.
how long you
I
been
mean,
doing? 4 years now?
yeah, this year is year 4.
I thought so. Yeah.
Yeah. It's wild.
Yeah. So what made you decide? And I guess I'm interviewing you now. What
No, it's
made you
fine.
decide to do?
But
What made you decide to start it?
so I always wanted one, and I never really nailed something down that I wanted to talk about on a regular basis.
Yeah.
And I started going through Spotify one day, and I started listening to artists and bands that, up here in New England weren't getting radio play.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, like there's music outside of Keith Urban and Tim McGraw and,
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift, right? The list goes on.
Right.
And, my now ex-wife was like, maybe that's what you should talk about.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what the fuck? Why not? And I put it out there on Instagram if there was any artists that wanted to come on and just shoot the shit and tell their story, and the
Right.
floodgates opened.
Has there been any artist that's been on the podcast? You don't have to name any names where you did not want to do it at all, but it's like, you know what? Let's just do it.
Honestly, there's been a lot of those.
I can imagine.
There's been a
Just
lot of
have to,
those.
and this is one right here. I'm sure.
This is probably one of the first I've actually really looked forward to. Uh,
I remember that one that you in episode 250 that you was talking about when you got interviewed that she like did not want you to put the episode out or something like that. I was like, dang, that's wild. Yeah. Uh,
it's funny because I've been talking a lot about 250 lately, and
yeah.
it's one of
That
those
was a good
episodes.
episode.
What's that?
That was a good episode.
Thanks,
Very,
man.
very
Like,
detailed and raw.
yeah, and I got a lot of people to reach out to me after that, from it within the industry that was
Hmm.
like, I've been through the same thing. I have
Yeah.
felt the same way, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Like, I got a lot of positive feedback. Um, I didn't think I said anything that was wrong or off,
Right.
you know? I didn't put blame on her. I didn't
Right.
blame on anybody but myself,
Yeah.
you know?
You open up pretty good there. It's like, wow,
I I unfortunately did.
hey, it's good. That was like a therapy session. And
Dude,
and and, and it helped me too, because I mean, there's sometimes where as much as I loved it, so maybe it's time for me to shut her down and focus on other things. And at some point, I will have to. I mean, I'm only 37, and I got the next 30, 40, 50 years to look forward to, and maybe I need to shut her down and focus elsewhere and save money and not spend $200 at a festival when it pops up and stuff. But
yeah.
yeah.
Dude, I hear you. Of us recording this, I'll be 38 in a couple weeks.
Oh
And
wow,
there's times where I'm like, the fuck am I doing?
yeah. I mean, I mean, I get down like that sometimes. Like, it's like why do you keep doing this? Like, what's the end game? Like,
Yeah.
and then it's like like, who cares if you go to this concert? And it's like, and that's what this goes to. Like, I do it for myself.
Yep.
It's therapy. I used to say it's cheaper than therapy, but getting to the
It's not
point where
anymore.
maybe it's not.
Hey,
Especially the Zach Bryan show I spent money on in Oklahoma. That was pretty spendy.
I mean, but you also get to see Zach in Oklahoma.
Yeah, and that's why I had to do it. Especially at the Minneapolis uh debacle. I was like, you know what? And I actually kind of glad that Minneapolis kind of happened, where I got when I drank 2 bottles of tequila and got kicked out before the show started.
You what?
Did
What?
you see?
What? Hold
Did
on.
you see?
What?
You didn't see that post
No.
I made? Anyway, so I mean, it was a U.S. Bank show, and it was Zach Bryan at U.S. Bank Stadium. So I knew, and I didn't get the fast pass and everything. So it's like, you know what? I'm just gonna pregame hard and let it linger and let me float it out. And I had like 2 bottles of like 2 big, big bottles of margarita, tequila. And I said, you know what? Let's have a good time. And cause like the doors are at 5 and the show didn't start to 7:30 and there's 3 bands, Turnpike, um, uh, some band called Low Down 41 or something like that. Then of course, Zach. I said, by the time Zach comes on, I'll be fine. Hell, before even Turnpike comes on, I'll be fine. But apparently, I missed the where you get your wristband for the floor, then Access like logged me out. Then I was like having trouble logging back in, and I having trouble with that sober as can be. And it's like, and the guard looked at me and said, "You're drunk. We're taking you to the sheriff's or something. The cops upstairs." Then that's when they escorted me out. I was like,
Damn.
yeah, yeah. And like I was drunk, but I wasn't like slobbery. Like I knew what was going on, and I was respectful to him. And he said, "Oh, don't go back in there. You're banned for the night." I was like, "All right." And luckily, like he didn't like follow me into my car or whatever. He said, "Call your Uber or call your ride to pick you up." I was like, "All right." So I'd lingered about for 10 minutes. So then I tried to sneak back in line and get back in there. Then he reaches behind me and grabs. He's like, "I told you not to go back in there." I said, "You're trying to get back in." I said, "Yeah, of course I am. Have you seen the ticket price of this show? Of course I'm trying to get back in there." Then after that, I was like, "All right, that's enough." Then went back to the Blue Stallion and just passed out and woke up to people leaving the concert, walking past my car, and I was like, "Dang, this sucks." But
Yeah.
I didn't get too down for it. I said, you know what? You've seen him at that time 13 times, and it's like there's not a lot of people that seen Zach Bryan 13 times in concert. So,
It's true. So when
and
did you
then
see Zach the first time?
first time was I believe it was Hinterland Music Festival. Then 2 days later, I saw him at a free show at the Iowa State Fair. I think that was in 21. In both shows, he wasn't even on the bill. The Hinterland Festival in St. Charles, Iowa, he filled in for Tanya Tucker, who got sick. And I was like, thanks, Tanya. Appreciate you. Then the second one, he filled in for Culture Wall, who couldn't get out of Canada. And I was going there anyways to see Drake White. So it's like, I was thinking about going to see Culture Wall before Drake White, because how it's set up, there's many different, stages at a state fair. I'm sure it's the same everywhere. It's like, well, I guess I'm seeing Zach Bryan again. Then it just, trickled down from there. Then I saw him in Kansas and, uh, Minnesota and Wisconsin. And I'm glad I did because these last few ones have been pretty expensive. So,
Yeah,
uh,
we saw him over the summer at Gillette,
yeah,
and I have famously or infamously have given Zach a lot of shit over the years.
yeah. And that's what I called you up for a little bit.
And I some of it again, it's clicks, it's views. I know if I start giving Zach Bryan shit, people are gonna be looking.
Oh yeah.
And like to a point a couple years ago.
You're giving your secrets away here.
I know. Couple years ago, he was up here. I think the Eagles were playing the Patriots,
Hmm.
and I had put on like my story. I was like, Zach, I know you're fucking here. Like,
let's get this podcast going.
let's do it, right? And this was
Right.
even before like any kind of, real drama and stupid shit. Oh, he had
Right.
just gotten arrested in Oklahoma by that cop.
Yeah. Do you know who I am?
Yeah, right, right.
Yeah.
And and then the whole thing with this I was surprised about when he and Charles released projects on the same day.
Right. And some people are saying like he did that on purpose. He's undermining Charles and everything. Did you see that video with him and JR? Cause he put something out the same day JR did. He did like a story and JR is on there. It's like, oh, my album or single is coming out this day. And Zach popped in. He's like, hey, mine is too. He's like, shit. So I don't think he did it on purpose. I mean, maybe if he did, I don't know. Who knows?
Right.
It's like I would defend Zach until I'm blue in the face. I don't care who it is.
I know you will. That's why I
Right,
bring it up, because
right,
like I had put it out there. I was like, did Zach do this on purpose or was this like just a fluke? And like
right.
he had commented on it.
Oh,
And
did he?
like, yeah, and only I could see it. And I was like, oh shit. I'm like, is he gonna fucking block me? Like, what's going on?
Right.
But to
What
his credit,
what did he say? What was the comment?
he just said
I
that it wasn't on purpose.
I'm sure it was. Him and Charles were good friends. I don't know if they still are. I've heard some rumblings that they have separated friendship. People tell me that he's unfollowed Zach on there or whatever. I don't know. I haven't heard anything. Then of course, old chicken fries said she has tea on it. So I don't know. I hope not. I mean,
Now,
but you know,
let me ask you, right? Because
hmm
you are a Zach Bryan apologist, I will say, right? Um, how much of that Brianna story do you think has legs?
I mean, you, you you do the math on it. You know, you got Rose Madden, you got Deb, who God bless Deb. She's the one that got him to be an Eagles fan. So bless her for that. Then of course, old Brianna Chicken Fry. I mean, maybe he's not the greatest boyfriend. Maybe some of it's fabricated. I mean, as long as he did, beat her and leave her in the ditch, that's his business. I'm
Right,
not I don't go to any artist for relationship advice. So,
right, right.
I've seen married artists flirt with, uh, chicks at a show.
Yeah,
That's, it's like, go ahead, that's your business.
yeah,
And that's like, and knowing that I know who they are and knowing that they are married, it's like, right there in front of me. It's like, all right, that's all right.
yeah.
You do you. Yeah, so I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it's in his songs. He's not the best guy. I mean,
Right, right,
it's like watching a movie, knowing what happens, then questioning the ending of it. It's
right, right.
it was right there. It's in the plot. Like,
Yeah, I say it all
yeah.
the time. It's like Zach's been telling us for years how much of a piece of shit he is.
Right,
Like
right,
why are we?
right,
Whether the stories are true or not, like, what do
right.
you? Are we
And
surprised?
and Zach's been nothing but a class act to me. And he's, every time I've had interactions with him, he's been, and not just me, but everybody, around me that was there those nights. I've never seen him, have one bad thing to do with anybody. So
Yeah.
until he slaps me in the face or something,
Right.
I would defend him as much as possible. And it's funny, like how I went from a Zach Bryan fan to respecting him is a night in Iowa. I've seen him a lot in Iowa. He was playing the Valor Ballroom and Charles Open that night. And I went back there to where the buses are. It's like, oh, maybe I can meet him, whatever. And he was the first guy when I was actually kind of nervous to meet. It's been a while since I had like, oh shit, this is Zach Bryan. And so, anyways, go out there, meet him, talk with him. Before I get there, I'm like 3 people back, and he is having full-on conversations with everybody, not just, oh, good to see you. Like he was getting, actually having conversations. The security guard comes back there. He says, y'all shake his hand, take a picture, and y'all get out of here. And Zach gets on the table. He says, no, we're outside your venue. We're not hurting anybody. It's like, I will have a conversation with everybody, that's here. I'll be here at 4 o'clock in the morning if I have to be. and the security guard just threw up his hands and left. And then he was there to like way past 4 o'clock in the morning, just talking to everybody. Like,
That's
and then
awesome.
I was like, that's respect right there. He could just got left after the show and, never said a word to anybody. So,
Right.
then 2 days later, I saw him in Minneapolis at the Fillmore, another kind of smaller venue, but kind of big at the same time. It's before he really, popped off, but was still popular. And, I had like, 4 or 5 friends I was there. And it's like, oh, you met Zach 2 days ago. We want to meet him. I was like, I'm not going to bother him again. I just met him. I just saw him 2 days ago. It's like, oh, we wasn't there. I was like, all right, come on, follow me. So we went back there, and sure enough, he was back there again. And I walked up to him. He's like, "Hey, you was in Des Moines, Iowa, a couple of days ago." I was like, do you remember that? How? I was like, you remember that? I was like, yeah. Then shook his hand again, and he gave me a hug, and I was like, all right, Zach, you have a good night. He says, where are you going? He's like, grab a beer and hang out. I was like, yes, sir.
But it's fine. This is that kind of show. Um,
Right.
so with all that, do you have a Zach song that has come out that you're like, I can't fucking hear this song again?
No,
No.
there's not a Zach song I don't like.
Yeah.
There's like even his unreleased songs, like Dark. Like I go to YouTube on there and quite often this is listen to that one, and it's
It's
like, all
awesome.
right, that if we could go ahead and release that, that'd be pretty cool now.
Yeah.
Anytime, I mean that's been like 3 or 4 years now, so
Yeah.
that's probably my favorite unreleased one. So I mean, there's just not a song I don't like. I mean, I like more more than others, but
Yeah.
there's just not exact Brown songs like, all right, that's no good, but.
When I saw him here, I was actually like, you hear about it, you see the novelty of it, whatever. And I've seen, like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of shows, right?
Yeah.
I have never seen, and I've seen Garth in Gillette, I've seen Luke Combs at Gillette, I've seen Kenny Chesney at Gillette more times than I could fucking care to count. I have never seen an artist fill and sell out Gillette Stadium, and every single person knows every song start to
Every
finish.
every word to every song. Like
I
it's
couldn't believe it.
right. His shows are just so the energy. Like every song, it could be starting out with overtime. It could be No Cure. It could be anything. Like every song has that, you know, side A type of
Yeah,
ballad. So
yeah,
like he can pretty much close any song and it'd be like one of his best songs. So
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
It was really cool to see.
yeah. Is that
Now
the only time you've seen him?
that's the only time I've seen him. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There was a tour that came through here before he started doing stadiums, and it was on a night where I don't even know what to call it. Do I call her my ex niece? My former niece? I
That's
don't know.
hilarious.
It's that's the weird. We could get into that, but anyway, we'll say it. It was my niece's sweet 16th birthday,
Yeah.
and my ex and we had separated and then got back together, and it was her party within a couple of weeks of us getting back together. So there was no way I was getting out of that.
Right.
So I missed that show, and I could have gone to that show, but you know what? Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do.
I know that. And
You know?
luckily there hasn't been too many of the shows where I like had tickets to and missed, but um probably like it's just like it's so crazy like being in the scene and watching bands like I love catching the band early and watching their
Yeah.
success and like seeing Coetzel playing in Madison, Wisconsin was it 7 years ago. I just a little bitty bar that I just seen, not a bar. It's like a dive bar to a point. I saw Stevie Wilson Jr. there not too not long ago too. So, and to see them like venue after venue after venue, just moving up and like I seen Whiskey Myers here in a little bitty place here in Minnesota, then like to see him go from that size to that size and that size. And what's crazy, one of the last shows I've seen here is Treaty Oak Revival, and seeing their first show, like a 10,000 venue place, the first time they're ever in Minnesota, they're already playing the Armory. Even Coetzel doesn't sell out quickly here still. I was like, that's insane. Like
Yeah,
the first time in Minnesota, and you're already playing the Armory and selling it out. It's pretty wild. So
I don't think Treaty Oaks played a headline show up here before.
yeah, it's hard. I'm sure it's hard to get bands up there. I mean,
Dude, it is. It's very hard.
I thought Minnesota was bad, but were you at like pretty close to New England and
Yeah,
Boston? Yeah,
I am about, I don't know, 20 minutes north of Providence.
yeah.
So there's nothing.
Yeah. You got some, don't you have like something that's like pretty close to like Philadelphia and all that too, isn't it? Like
I mean,
kinda.
so from where we are, we're about 3 hours from Manhattan, and then it's 5 hours to Philly.
Yeah. So you got some stuff around there.
Yeah.
It's gonna take some commitment to get down there, but
Yeah.
yeah. Like here, like I go to Iowa probably more. I probably see more concerts in Iowa than any other state besides Texas. Because like a lot of bands like get up here and they get to Iowa, it's like, all right, let's go back down. And some like I said, like Minnesota is great music scene up here, but Iowa, like especially Des Moines and Cedar Rapids, I go there quite a bit.
Now,
And
how
of
far
course,
is
like
that from you?
Des Moines 3.5. Like so, like a 3.5 hour show is like, oh, that's it. All right, I can work an 8 hour day and go hit it. And speaking of that, probably one of my most controversial shows that I skipped is is Sturgill Simpson. Like I had Sturgill Simpson here on a Wednesday, and instead of going to there, I've been thinking about it. Tickets were like 100, 150, something like that. My buddy's like, "Oh, there's free stuff tickets. You should jump on it." And it was on a Wednesday, but I had to be at work at 6 the next day. Then I had Randall King in Iowa the next day. So you know what? I'm going to skip on Sturgill. I'm actually going to go and work an hour early to get done to make sure I'm front row for Randall. And like it blew a lot of people's heads that I choose I pass on Sturgill or sorry Johnny Blue Skies to go see Randall King. It's like
I
hey,
would have too.
yeah, hey, Randall King's family. Like I've been with him, been following him for almost a decade now. So
Dude, I would sell one of my children to talk to Randall King.
and I have like a lot of bands here with Randall because now he's a Chiefs fan, and we go back and forth on that, and especially in the last 4 or 5 years. I guess he's a big Patrick Mahomes guy who's from Texas and who went to Lubbock, Texas Tech University, so he kind of floated that way. And of course, his main team, the Cowboys, suck. So
Yeah,
he kind
Cowboys
of
are
he
terrible.
kind hey, that's something we can definitely agree on there. And no, it's like everybody's like, "What? You skipped on Sturgill to go see Randall King?" It's like, hey, sometimes like I mean, I do what I want to do. Like I don't do something because it's popular. If I was doing something because it's popular, I'll be at every Luke Bryan and Kane Brown show. And it's like I don't care about pop.
You
I
don't
don't
want
care
to.
about pop.
No, you don't want to do that.
I don't
Definitely
care
don't
about
want
pop.
to.
I don't care about pop. I don't care what what's popular. I do like I don't just base it. Oh, this artist is big, and then go see him. I base it on like a relationship I have with some artists. Like it's like I don't know. Like I never seen Sturgill. I've seen him years before. You know, before the whole Johnny Blue Skies thing. I don't have a relationship with him. And Randall King's family. I was like, screw it. It's like
Well, that's kind
I
of
want
how
to
I feel with Shane Smith and the Saints. Like
that's
anytime,
my dudes.
anytime those guys are up here, I don't give a shit. Somebody could
Right.
fucking die, and I'd be like,
Could
no,
be.
I'm going.
You know,
I'm
it's
going to
like
see those guys.
right. It's like I will pay my respects smart. I was like,
Yep.
right. And
Yep.
like I just posted a picture with me and Shane from 9 years ago. Like just crazy. Like that's another one of those bands I watched
Yeah.
playing little bitty bars in Texas, and like this day, a couple of days ago, 9 years ago, they played Blaine's Pub, little bitty college bar in San Angelo, Texas, and like I was all over seeing them in Texas, like, and like every time I see them, I bring it up. Like, you remember that little bitty pub in Abilene called Chelsea's? Oh yeah, you was there. It's like a going joke with Shane now. And it's like, then even now he brings it up. It's like, hey, were you at the pub in Abilene? I was like, yeah, with 12 people there at the most. And like and that have that funny story about that, like it's like a pub connected to the Abilene Mall, and I'm there on a Wednesday. And I look down and it says Shane Smith and the Saints here Friday. And I was like, who the fuck is that? Who's Shane Smith and the Saints? And I went in and did my shopping, and that name just stuck with me. Then I got home, and it just like I think it was like right when Coast was out. So then I just hit shuffle, and Cocaine Habit came on. It's like, I'm going to see these guys Friday.
Yeah.
And it just snowballed, growing down here after that. Then, I went to Wichita Falls, and that one, it was like on a whim. They opened for, who was that? I can't even think of his name. He's barefoot all the time. God, can't even think of his name. But he opened for somebody, and my brother was there. He wanted to go see him. Hopefully it pops in. And they want to go to the hotel first. I was like, I would drop you off with the hotel. I'm going to see my boys at Shane Smith. And just like every since and now they finally come to Minnesota. I've been jabbing him and telling him, so you have a song about coming through the Midwest. How about we actually come through the Midwest, or Shane, and play in Minnesota? So they finally did the first show up here, and it was awesome, as you know. So
Yeah. I saw them open for Whiskey Myers,
yep,
and
that's
it was the first show they were open for that tour. It was the first show they were opening, and there was some rumble and grumbles in the crowd about who they were, and somebody was like, "Oh, they had a song on Yellowstone," and yada yada yada.
right.
And I hadn't heard of them.
Yeah.
And then they came out, and they obviously they open with Last of the Mohegans, and it was
That's
like,
what a way to open the show.
right? And I'm standing there in the crowd. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And why haven't I heard this before?
Right.
It was just absolutely incredible.
That one of the best shows that you can pay money for.
Yeah.
Their live energy and stage presence is bar none. I put it right up there with Whiskey Myers. And
Yeah.
Whiskey Myers will always be my favorite. Like there's nobody. I don't care if your name is Colette or Zach Bryan. Whiskey Myers would always be my number one.
Yeah. Yeah. Whiskey is great. They're cool guys. We actually, they came through here this summer, and we as you know people, and you get into places where you don't expect to get into, and
Right.
we had a great time with those guys.
It's funny that you mentioned that. Like they played here. Like going back to my story about not having to buy tickets and everything because they don't sell out. Their first show here in 2017, the year I moved here, they played the Caboose, like a little smaller bar here, and it sold out. And I was distraught. I've been looking forward to this for so long. Still Woods open, and yeah, don't get me started on that. I'll give me some tissues. Um, then at that time I had like a little friendship with Tony Kent, the cowboy, the cowbell guy. And I was like, no, I hate to do this. And I'd send him a message like, hey man, I didn't expect the show this is my first show in Minnesota to sell. I didn't think it's going to sell out. But before I even said anything, he's like, you have a spot on the guest list +1. Come on out. I was like, that's awesome. Like, I started it's like I gotta get to the show somehow. And so, you know what? Quit crying about it, and turn this into a positive. So, and speaking of Stillwoods, I saw them. They opened for Whiskey at the House of Blues in Dallas, and didn't know them, didn't know the look of their music. And first 3 chords and 3 words out of Wes Bayless's mouth, it's like, these guys are badass. And
Yeah.
that was like 8 years ago, and been following them like crazy. And it sucks that they're disbanded, but it's for good reasons. And
You think they'll ever come back?
oh no, I don't
No.
think so. I think Wes will. I think
Yeah.
Wes will, and he pretty much said that he's still gonna do music. It's in some point of fashion, but I wouldn't be surprised if he came out with the gospel album. So
Yeah.
yeah,
They came through here, and it was one of those things where it's like I saw it the next day they were here, and I was just shit.
yeah.
Couldn't make it, and I was
It,
just
it just,
so
oh man, so you
so
never get to see him?
no.
Damn.
No.
It's one of what's like it just grabs you and
Yeah.
his just voice is just so captivating and like so like that first show with Whiskey it's like wow like and ever since then I just try to find him as much as possible so
Speaking of bands that go away and come back, what do you, are you on the we're psyched about Ragweed coming back?
nah not really to me
No.
like I mean it's awesome it's nostalgia I mean this is another one of those mysteries that people have for mine I'm just not that excited about it I mean it's great but what's the difference between 2025 Ragweed and Cody Cannon Departed. It's not going to be that much different, I don't think. I mean, and I'll probably get hate and blasted like I have before, with this topic, but I just don't think it's going to be that much different.
Yeah.
But I mean, they're not going to be wild teenagers or, wild 20-year-olds out there doing crazy stuff like they did when they first started. So like, what's the difference going to be?
Right.
I mean, and then I hate, I love band members. I love all, everybody in the band. But what's the difference between Rags playing and, I know like a 3-piece to a full band's can be different, but I don't know. Hot topic, but I just don't think it's going to be that much different. But I could be wrong. I've been wrong once or twice before. So, and the first day I tried to get tickets, I tried to look at it, and the little man just wasn't moving. I was at work, trying to get my day done. And finally, after like 20 minutes, I was like, you know what? I'm not even that excited about it. Why am I even trying to get tickets for it? So, and the
I mean
next day I did.
they're probably gonna tour.
Yeah, I mean, they're already throwing hints around for a Texas show. Apparently,
Right.
they have like a little Texas logo and
Yeah.
posting pictures like old school pictures with Shane Smith and
Yeah.
maybe uh, uh, they post somebody else. I forget.
Yeah,
Waybone, like
Wade Bowen,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So they're not just going to do 4 shows and call it quits. There's too much
No.
money involved.
Yeah, yeah.
They're like I'm surprised it all sold out, but like I said, it's nostalgia. I'm not going to shit on anybody's party or piss anybody's Cheerios, but I'm not going to be crying the night in April that they're playing. I'm not there, so.
Right.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
and and that's in April. It's like there's a lot of things happening, and I'm sure I can find something.
Right.
Hopefully, Wiki Thump comes back. I've heard for some people it's gonna be in May, and Wiki Thump the Whiskey Myers Festival in Palestine. So I haven't been to that yet, and
No,
would love
me
to
neither.
attend it. So yeah,
It's hard because it's like, all these bands and artists, in the red dirt scene that I have started to really love in the last year or so, year and a half. Like I was saying, like they just don't come here. They just
right.
don't come. And if they
What you?
come, it's quick. It's like last minute
Uh,
and they're gone.
probably on a Tuesday or something too,
Right.
and
Yep.
I think what's like the main one that's came up through Shane.
Whiskey's been
They
up here a few times.
no.
Um, Co just came through. He played a couple of shows up in New England.
What Vinny did he play?
Um, he played he played Mohegan Sun over at the casino. He played at the arena there, and then he played at a like a mid-sized theater, House of
Yeah.
Blues kind of style, called the Roadrunner.
Oh,
Um,
so speaking of Cole, the first time I met him, Craig's story that going back to the Madison, Wisconsin show. The first time I got off of work and just drove 4 hours over there, and as soon as it's like on a Wednesday, it's like I'm not missing Cole and Kobe Cooper up here because they at that time they never came up here. And after the show, I was hanging out with Kobe and hanging out with the convicts, and I was like, man, is there any way I can meet Cole? I was like, oh, he's in there playing Mario Kart and doing cocaine or something probably. I was like, all right, and I have to be back at work at 6 o'clock the next day in Minnesota, 4 hours away. So I waited and waited, and it's like screw it. And like during that show, like then he did the Love with him and Parker, and he's like, oh, this is about a stripper in Abilene, Texas, and I had my still have my Abilene ID. I was like, oh, look at this shit. He looks at it. He says, Abilene, no fucking way. Like right there, like stopped the whole show and like acknowledged that. It's like that's pretty cool. Anyways, going back, I'm coming out of this Irish bar across the street, and I was like, all right, it's like 2 o'clock in the morning. It's like I gotta get back. I gotta get to work. And so I'm walking back. I see the bus fly open. He says, Abilene, come here. I was like, holy shit, that's cool. So I walk over there, and he has a big old bottle of Tito's vodka, and he's like, you want a sip of this? I was like, sure. And he's like, you want a picture? It's like, yes, sir. He whispered in my ear, it's like, you mind if I close my eyes in the picture? I was like, Cole, you can take your pants off in the picture. I don't care. You're Cole Wessel. And it was right there in the streets of Wisconsin. Uh, then, um, then he said, you want to come on the bus? It's like, hell yeah. And, I was walking and I said, no phones, no pictures. I walk in there and Kobe Cooper's in there. And this is baby Kobe. And there's, some lines of white powdery substance on the table there. And Kobe's like, you have a song about cocaine and you motherfucker, you don't even do cocaine. You're doing it tonight. Kobe's like, no, no way, no way. And, he didn't do it that night, but, I'm sure things have changed since then. So, I was pretty wild times to first meet old Cole. So,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah,
Colby's another one that if he's ever been up here, he's definitely never done a headlining show, at least not in the last couple of years that I've been paying attention.
right. And I just got to see Kobe again. I've been with him for quite some time too. Like I think my first time seeing him was Chili Fest in College Station, and that's been 8, 9 years ago. So,
Oh, we had
uh,
Tanner do he did a headline show up in Boston last February.
yeah, that's another. And it seems like he hasn't come through this area in a while. Like
No.
last time I seen him, like was like Peacemaker. I was like, well, I guess Tanner, I got to come to you. So,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
like before he switched touring labels or uh booking agencies, like he used to come up here quite a bit. So, and that's kind of where the old fuck Matt Westman came from. Like one day, like I was at a co-show and Tanner's playing the little dive bar Ryder Saloon here in Minnesota, and my buddy Sean came up to him like he had like a live feed of the whole show, and he walked up to him. He says, I'm here because of Matt Westman." Then like on the microphone, Tanner's like, "Fucking Matt Westerman," and that's how it kind of started, rolling downhill. And it just like everywhere I go, I hear about Matt Westerman. And like, I guess one time, like I saw Whitey Morgan, Cody Jinks in Missouri. Then they played in Iowa the next day, and Tanner was playing like 8 miles away. So I was like, screw it. I just bought like the cheapest ticket and like found like the best seat I could because I was going there for Jinx and Whitey. I was going to go see Tanner, and I found this row of seats nobody was in. I sit down there, and Tanner and the boys roll in. He goes, man, I swear, my dad and Matt Western is more famous than I am. You're everywhere. And
Yeah.
that's like the first show I ever left. I left Cody Jinks early to go to the Tanner Ostrey show.
I can't wait to see Cody finally this year.
Oh, you haven't seen Jinx?
Not yet. Not yet.
It's
It was another one of those things where the last time I think it was the last time he came through here was like last February. Maybe I think.
yeah.
And Turnpike was opening.
Oh wow.
And my wife and I had just split, and I just wasn't,
I feel you.
so I didn't go. And like I had just talked to Jake, Jake and I were texting back and forth, and I was just like, you know what, I'm going, and then I just didn't go, but
Uh,
this year with
it's hard to go enjoy yourself during that time period. So,
yeah, you know,
yeah.
now with having Jinx on the show and the
I was,
relationship I've
that was pretty wild. I was like,
yeah
wow, Jim got Jinx on it. That's pretty crazy.
yeah I still can't believe that one, but
All right.
you know, but the relationship I've built with his team and stuff, it's like now it's like I'm going. I don't give a fuck.
Right. Jinx, like I got him in Missouri. Him and Tanner's doing a show, and $60 all GA. You don't see that anymore. You don't see that
No,
for the Jinx show. Like he's doing one in Iowa and like the same tour. It's like $300 something to be front row. It's all seated. And I was like, screw this.
Jesus,
I'm going.
yeah,
Yeah. I was like, screw
yeah,
this. I'm going
because
to Missouri.
when he's here, Tanner opens for that show, but like the week before, maybe 2 weeks before, um, Shane's opening like a run of shows in like Philly, Jersey, and somewhere else. So I might just say fuck it and do that one too.
All right. It's actually like it's a good problem to have when you have too many shows and you have to pick. Like I hate it, but it's like man, like that's a good problem to have when
Yeah.
you have to pick. You have to pick a show to go to. So
Have
yeah,
you seen?
it's
I was gonna say, have you seen Ward Davis?
oh yes, many
Yeah,
times. I've seen
I
I've
I haven't
seen
seen him either.
what?
Yeah.
I've seen him like after. So like my favorite Zach Brown show was in Council Bluffs, Iowa. It was him and Charles, like a 13,000 people behind me. You just a sea of people in this field. I believe that was on like maybe on Monday or something. Like I took time off and Ward played at Bucks in Nebraska the next day. And I was like, then I had to be back at work, like back in Minnesota the next day. I was like, I guess I'm not sleeping because I'm not missing Ward at Bucks.
Yeah.
And that was pretty snazzy weekend. So, and speaking of Bucks, if you, that's another place that you need to get to at some point. Have you heard of it?
No.
It's like the dive bar in Nebraska. It's like 19 miles out of Omaha, and this is like where Jinx got his like start out of Texas, pretty much. Like the owners, Buck Bennett and Tara Lee, like really helped him out, and like and he's played there like every time he goes there. So
No shit.
and yeah, I mean not anymore, but no, when he was first starting out and stuff.
Right.
And I just seen Waddy Morgan there maybe a month ago, a couple weeks ago, and never would have thought I was seeing Waddy Morgan at a dive bar again. So
That's
that was
awesome.
that was pretty wild.
Yeah, Whitey
that
came up
weekend
here
I
not too
saw
long ago too.
that weekend I saw Waddy, then Kenny Fiedler back to back. So that was A+ weekend.
Yeah, we've been talking to Kenny to get him on the show too.
He's been doing a lot of podcasts really lately.
Yeah. Yeah, we had some stuff kind of sort of lined up. And then you know, shit happens, you know.
Kind of like this one right here.
Yeah.
Hey, you available? No. You available? No.
Yeah, I mean that's
No,
you know, like we're
that,
like I feel bad. Like we have oh, I'll tell you because I'm sure it'll be recorded and shit and coming out by the time this does or whatever, but like we
no.
have Mickey Braun coming on.
Oh well.
So we're supposed to be recording with Mickey on this Saturday. We're talking. We're supposed to record on Monday, but I forgot I had some shit I have to do Monday, so I have to move that.
Right.
Um, because Mickey's living up here.
Yeah. Oh, is it really? Wow.
Yeah,
I didn't know.
yeah.
I didn't know that.
So
That's wild.
you know, it makes it a little easier when they're local.
Oh yeah.
You know,
So how is the local scene there? Is it
um, for the kind of music you like,
not so much?
it's actually not bad. It's not a
Oh
lot,
really? Wow.
but the ones that are doing it are really fucking good.
Yeah. And that's another thing. Like I'm very blessed and have local scene here in Minnesota. Like the first guy here, and it's like what these Yankees know about country music up here. And it's like it's not gonna be the same as Texas, and it's not, of course. But it's crazy to have such badass local music up here.
Yeah.
Like going from the plot hymns who blew me away, and like my guy who I'm wearing right now, Bill Litzall, like just hearing him play Cody Jinks and Jackson Taylor and Still Woods, like I just never thought that would happen. Like, and some couple of new ones coming up like Samuel John and Zach Grandon. Like there's just a lot of
What I'll
great.
do is I'll send you a list of the locals around here that I think you would like,
Mm-hmm.
and you can check them out on Spotify and shit. I
I,
think you'd dig
I
them.
just I think about that. It's like I wonder how the local scene is like
Yeah.
in different places and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, some of it's good, some of it's not good.
Yeah, I
You
feel
know.
you. Yeah.
Now let me ask you this, right? This is a controversial topic.
Hey, let's get deep, shall we?
What do you think of, or what do you not think of the females in this red dirt genre that you love so much?
For the longest time, I was never a big female listening fan. Like, it's nothing against female singers, but I like the
Yeah.
grit and rasp of a voice, and 99.9% of the females don't have rasp and grit, so I just never got into them. But I mean now, I mean Morgan Wade, Lainey Wilson, uh, talk about blowing up, holy smokes. Um, Cat Hasty, like one of my favorites, Cat Hasty. Even going like Caitlin Buds and now Maggie Anton. They're like the women's scene is kicking ass right now.
Yeah.
It's taking over kind of to a point, but I mean it's just there's so many like there's more that I've seen name, but like those right there, like I would like I went and saw Lainey Wilson in Nebraska. I was like I was kind of like wow, you're driving 7 hours to see a female sing. Times have changed,
What do you
and it's great. That's
what do you
crazy. Like
think of
seeing
Sierra?
Lainey.
What do you think of
Oh,
Sierra
Sierra.
Farrell?
Oh, I love Sierra Farrell. She's
Do
weird
you?
as shit. She's weird as shit, but
She is
I
weird as
love her.
shit.
Yeah, like that's good weird. That's nothing bad. But funny story about that. I seen her in Nebraska, and like I haven't really told too many people this story. So after that, I sleep in my car. A lot of people know this after a show. So I go after the her show, which kick ass show, and uh, pass out, and I wake up and I look in in my driver's seat, and I said, I didn't think I left the hoodie in my passenger seat. I was like, that's weird. I reached over to grab it, and it was somebody sitting in my car at 5:30 in the morning after a show, and he looks at me dead in the eye. He's like, "Oh man, sorry, I needed somewhere to charge my phone." I was like, "In my car?" He's like, "Oh man, sorry about that." And yeah, he had his hood up and everything, and it was a experience. Like this could have turned out 20 times worse than what it would. Then he's like, "Man, is there any way I can just sleep for 3 more hours?" I was like, "No, you can't sleep in my car." I was like, he's like he was very nice and pleasant, like, and like after like I'm waking up after a show like I just had a few hours ago. Like I'm just trying to process this, and then it's like I started calming down a little bit. I was like, man, that's wild. And like I had a different like my work phone up there. It's like, oh man, here's your phone by the way. I was like, oh, appreciate it, thank you. And then finally I said, man, you gotta get out. He's like, oh sweet. And by this time it's like almost 6. He's like, McDonald's is opening. I can go over there. You want a McMuffin? I was like, nah, I'm good. I got up, got in my car, and got out of there. I was like, that was like one of the wildest experiences. And I was like, after that, I make sure I hit that log button every time.
Yeah.
And
Have you?
like halfway, I was like, did I dream that? And I look down and my charger is it's unplugged and stuff. And I was like, no, I did not. I was like, that is like one of the wildest things. Like what if there's like, like, there's just so many what if situations that could have happened right then.
That's awesome. Have you ever met Sierra?
Nope. That's one I haven't
No.
met. Uh,
I hear
I've only
some.
seen her 4 or 5 times. So.
I've never seen her, but I hear, you know, doing this, you hear stories.
Oh yeah, I
So
can
I was
imagine.
just curious if the stories I've heard are true.
What kind of stories have you heard?
Oh God. Um. I'll say it. I hear she's a total bitch.
I mean, I think we all can be. I
Yeah.
mean, I met Evan Felker one time, and I asked him for a picture. He looked at me up and down and says, "No," and just walked off. I was
Well,
like,
it's
eh,
funny because I'll tell you a little story, and I'm not afraid to say it. I'm sure some of my friends
don't,
don't want me to tell this story, but I will.
don't get canceled now.
Fuck, dude, I've said way worse on this show. Um, Sunny Sweeney had come through here,
Yeah.
and she played a small venue on a Sunday night. Never miss a Sunday show, right? Um,
Unfortunately, I miss every Sunday show for the most part.
oh, really?
I got my boy on Sunday, so
Oh,
uh,
okay.
yeah. So
Yeah, I
Sunday
try not to
shows.
miss Sunday shows, but anyway.
Yeah.
So I had heard from people forever about how tough she is to deal with.
Oh, really? Sunny?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I'm not gonna lie to you. I tried to have a little interaction with her before the show and being like, hey, I'm coming out to the show, yada yada yada. And I got a little pushback. And then when I met her and like had a conversation with her after the show, she was
Hmm.
one of the nicest people I've ever come in contact with.
I bet. I get crazy like that. Like that Evan Felker experience. My phone's about to die. I had to go grab a charger.
So
And
fun.
then I found out the whole thing about him and Miranda Lambert and the alcohol problems he had. I was like, well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like I met him after that and talked about it. It's like, yeah, man, I was an asshole to everybody. So
Yeah.
it's like, and then I just never, I don't take, personal. I mean, we all have bad days, and
Yeah.
I'm sure you might have been an asshole to somebody and maybe left a bad, bad taste in somebody's mouth.
I'm sure I have.
But there we go. And I'm sure I have too. So,
I'm pretty sure I
yeah.
have the divorce papers to prove it.
I was about to mention that. I was like, no, I'm not gonna bring that up. I was like,
I'll
that's
make I'll make the joke.
yeah, there you go.
Um,
That's crazy. It's sunny. I wouldn't never think it should be hard to work with, but
yeah, neither did I. And
yeah,
I mean, I didn't really know her, but like,
yeah,
like what? And then we had some interactions, and I was like, all right, I can see where somebody would think this. And then I met her in person, and she was like the fucking nicest person.
yeah. I mean, I think Evans that one time is like the only time I found like a bad interaction with somebody. There's one time like I get like, are you supposed to be back here type of thing sometimes. Like after a show, I met Chris Cagle. Like he opened for some pop country dude, and I went there for him. And after his set, I kind of snuck back there, and he's like getting food or something before it was in. He's like, man, you supposed to be back here? I was like, no. I was like, no, I don't think so. I was like, he's like, oh, grab your plate, come hang out there. It's like, oh hell yeah.
Dude,
And see,
I get to interview Kegel, and he was a lot of fun.
oh man, I've heard he's like somebody even said he's an asshole. It's like, well,
I can see how people would think that.
right. And it's funny, like a lot of people think Aaron Lewis is, and I met him at the Highway 30 Fest in Idaho, and I says, man, you're not that big of an asshole like everybody says you are. It says, shh, don't keep it like that. Don't-
I've had a few interactions with Aaron over the last few years, and he has been nothing but the nicest.
Right? It was one of those guys who like in the back area of Highway 30, just hanging out for hours and stuff. And I was like, dang, it's like you're not that asshole everybody says you are. It's just don't tell nobody that.
Yeah.
I want them to keep thinking I'm an asshole. So.
Right, right. So what do you got coming up?
Oh, I got two pretty big ones. Charles Wesley Godwin and that Joe Stam guy.
Joe,
Joe Stam band opened up for him back to back. So that's me pretty kick ass. So
yeah.
and Muscadine Blowline's coming up here on the 21st. I might do that one. I haven't decided yet. Then I got my first Gavin Adcock show in March. So that's going to be pretty interesting. So,
I'm thinking of maybe going to see him when he comes to the House of Blues, but
uh,
I
it's
don't
going to
know.
be on, it's a Sunday show, but I'm say, you know what? I'll get my boy that Friday and Saturday, kind of change things up because he's playing in Iowa too on Saturday. So I was like, well, I'll drive all the way to Iowa when he's going to be here,
Yeah,
on Sunday. So kind of fix that up a little bit. So that's going to be a pretty wild show.
yeah. I don't know if my liver can handle it.
And that's another thing. I get hate for him, being a fan of him. I got tons of hate for being a Warren Ziders fan. Uh,
Why?
just because people don't like because he's TikTok famous
Oh,
and how cringe he was on TikTok and he is pretty cringe, but I still love it some Warren Ziders.
yeah,
Uh, and see those like Jack. I just get a lot of hate for being a Jackson Taylor fan and Garth Brooks. I still get a lot of hate for being a Garth Brooks fan. It's like, oh, he's pop. It's like he ain't pop. Like, what songs are pop? But
right.
just nothing but bangers. Like it's like, oh, he started pop country and that BS quote from Waylon that people said. And I talked to Shooter about it. He said, to his knowledge, Waylon never said that. The whole pantyhose and finger fucking and quote or whatever.
Yeah,
And I was like, when everybody tells me, oh, Garth sucks or he's pop, whatever, and I was like, I don't care. Oh, he's woke now. It's like I don't care what he drinks, who he votes for. You'd be surprised on some of your favorite singers who they voted for that I've heard through great sources that
yeah,
not everybody is on your side in the politics area. So it's like I don't care who you voted for, I don't care whatever, but I don't care. I will just like Zach, I'll defend Garth until I'm blue in the face. So
yeah,
and
yeah,
the fact that he put country at that time was kind of falling off a little bit, and
yeah,
he injected energy into it, and even my dad at first, for many many years didn't like him. Then then he finally came through. So like he was doing a like a DVD, and me and my dad watched it. So it was pretty cool. So he's like,
yeah,
this guy's not that bad after all.
yeah. Garth, my ex-wife and I, that was like our first like real like outing date. When we first started dating. So regardless of all the bullshit, and I know there's people gonna listen to this that aren't gonna want to hear this, and honestly, with all the love and respect in my heart, I don't give a fuck. But Garth will always hold
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
a very special place in my heart because of that.
Yep.
You know,
And that's too, like it's just one of those experiences where I never thought I could see Garth Brooks in concert.
right?
He played in Minnesota in 2019, and just like the feeling, like the raw emotion, like it's like wow, it's just like 30 years of never thought this moment would happen.
Yeah, being a kid, when um he did Central Park, I mean, we're the same age,
Yeah, pretty crazy.
when
Like
he right
exactly the same age.
when he did Central Park, that was a big thing. And, my parents aren't country music people. And I remember my father buying the double live album. And I always liked Garth Brooks, even when I
Right,
didn't like country music.
right, and like I just like I try to hear people's, like Haze Pop. It's like, what's like the dance? Like it's one of the greatest songs ever. Friends in Low
Right,
Places, Thunder Rose. I was like, where's the pop at? It's like it might not
right.
be straight down the line country, but I mean, what is these things? And that's why I'm kind of like getting off the that's not country stuff. It's not half of what I listen to is not country. Phil
Right.
Wessels not country. Shane Smith's
Tr-
not country.
right. Treaty
Like,
of Revival,
like
it's not country music.
not in the country music. Right.
Good.
Like,
It
like,
falls under the umbrella somehow.
right. I'm like, I'm getting off the that's not country. I'm just getting off that shitty music. That's,
Yeah.
like I don't listen to. I mean, even Shabuzi. I fucking 2 or 3 Shabuzi songs I love, and I don't know.
Westerman.
bar bar songs a banger.
Westerman.
It's a banger.
Come on.
It
What are,
ain't country, but it's a
what are you gonna
banger.
What are you gonna tell me? Beyonce should have won Country Album of the Year?
Well, she did for the Grammys.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah. No, I'm not a Beyonce fan, but some like I like three Shabushi songs, bar song. When you like
It's catchy.
dice it, I mean, not just catchy, but like you break it down, and it's it's just like I'm tired of all working so much, and I just want to drink at a bar. Like
Yeah.
you break it down a little bit. And he did a song with Paul Cawthon, so it's like, hey, if Paul Cawthon's okay with him, then I'm okay with him. So
Yeah.
and like one of his new songs, "Good News," I think it's called, and that's a banger of a song too. But I don't
Yeah.
know. I like those songs. I'll never go see him live because he sounds shitty live. I was I made a post like after his halftime. It's like, Shabuzi, just use auto-tune. It's okay. Just
Yeah.
use it. It's fine. Just lip sync. We don't care.
Yeah.
Just do it. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Just make it sound
just
better than you do.
right. I'll never support him. I never buy anything from him. I never go to a show. But sometimes I'll throw a little Shabuzi on.
Yeah. Hey,
Mm.
whatever. You know.
Yeah.
Well, Matt, I can't thank you enough for coming on. I've been wanting to
Oh
talk to
man.
you for fucking ever, man. I know we text and shit, but this was a lot better.
Right. It just, like, why would he want me on his podcast? Like, especially after doing Jinx and, I was like,
Dude,
what
it has
the,
because I love what you do. I love what you get to see and do, and I live vicariously through you like
and,
every
and,
weekend.
and that's why I do it because I know, like, I'm blessed to be able to be in this position to do that. And I love sharing my experience with people. It's crazy how many people will come up and say, hey man, I love your pictures, your videos. Like, we don't get to do this very often. And so we love, and I think that's, kind of how, whatever popularity I've gained has come from that, being, doing videos and stuff.
You know,
And it's,
I'm gonna if you don't mind, I'm gonna before we go, I'm gonna be a little sappy here.
go ahead.
All right. I do love what you're doing. I love all the shows you go to. I love the content you put out, or content, whatever. But what I think I admire and respect the most about you and how you do it, regardless of the show, regardless of anything, anybody that knows you knows that you work your ass off. And the most I don't want to say impressive, but the biggest thing for me that I see a lot of me and you is how much you love that boy.
Oh, absolutely. No matter
It,
where I'm at, I'm here every Sunday. Like
yeah,
I could wake up in Nebraska and drive 7 hours, back to see him. So, and it's just so like that's why I would never leave Minnesota. There's no way I'm leaving my son. So,
yeah,
and like even like after everything happened, whatever, a lot of my family and friends like, oh, you come back to Texas? Like, no, I'm not leaving my boy. There's no way I would ever live in a place like his mother has my life in her hands pretty much. If she decides to move to Alaska, I'm going to Alaska. Like,
yeah,
and I'm glad that we have a nice civil relationship and it's a lot, better to, keep it that way.
yeah,
Makes things a lot easier. So,
yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
Well, on that note, Matt, keep kicking ass, man.
Man, I look up an hour, 15 minutes. And that it just
Dude,
flew by.
I could talk to you for the rest of the night, but
Right.
you know,
I can talk music all day.
right.
Like,
We'll do this again for sure.
all right. It
Well,
was a blast.
yeah, man.
Hey,
Have a good night.
like I said, I'm surprised like you wanted me on here, but I sure thanks for having me on here.
Oh, you know what? I'll tell you a quick story before we go. So I remember when I first stumbled across you, like I thought you like worked for somebody.
You're not the first person that's
Because I
thought
was like,
that.
who the fuck is this dude? And what is it like? I want to, and then I'm like, I looked more into it and into it. And I was like, this dude just goes to fucking shows. I'm like, this is awesome.
That's it. Just a crazy guy who goes to a lot of concerts and
And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, you're, you You do what
puts
you
it,
got to do, and
it
you enjoy
puts
yourself.
it puts a smile on my face, so I'm gonna keep doing it till I can't. So
That's right. That's right.
yep.
Well, Matt, thanks for you know, putting out all the bands that I can't see because they don't fucking come up here on your
I,
social media every weekend.
of course, it's a passion that I love supporting. Finding music and supporting as much as I can. So
Yeah, man. Well,
yeah.
keep doing it, and you know, I know I've begged you to, do stuff for us and stuff, and I get that you're busy and all that, but
I'm doing something every day. I'm either working, going to a show, or have my boys. So
yeah, man,
it's tiresome, but it's all worth it. So
it sure is. It
yeah.
sure is. Well, enjoy the rest of your night. I'm gonna
All
see if it's snowing yet.
right. All right. You as well, Jim.
See you, bud.
See ya.
Well, there you have it, everyone. Our conversation with Matt again on this Sunday edition of the Boots and Whiskey podcast. Matt, thank you again from the bottom of my heart for coming in and coming in. You didn't fly to Massachusetts, for coming on and telling your story and just shooting the shit, man. I had a blast. Um, Tuesday we have Craig Morgan on the show. Um, what else we got? That's really kind of it. Craig Morgan on Tuesday. Oh, Connecticut shows. Now, I know you go to shows to have fun, right? But Lee Bryce is in an acoustic setting, no band, just himself. And this isn't the first time at a show in Connecticut this has happened to me. It happens every fucking time, where the crowd was obnoxious. And it wasn't like a young kid crowd, it was not a hootin' and hollering kind of like college crowd. It was like adults, middle-aged adults who obviously don't ever go the fuck out of the house. But anyway, keep it classy, Connecticut. Love it. So that's it, guys. We'll see you Tuesday for Craig Morgan. Until then, guys, keep the boots on the ground and the whiskey in the glass. Be good to each other. Cheers.